Hello, hello, my magical friends, and welcome to another podcast episode. This is Annika with Witchful Ways. For those of you that may be tuning in for the very first time, you should head over to witchfulways.com and take a look at the different offerings, services, and amazing membership that I have available to be able to allow you to live a magical life every single day. That is my purpose. That is my goal, to share my experience and knowledge to allow you to step into your most powerful self to create your magical life every day. Okay, last episode, we talked about manifesting. And I think we got into what's the one thing, right, that a lot of people neglect or to think about when it comes to manifesting. But let's take that a step back, right? We all love those prequels that happen in movies. Let's take a step back and go, you know what is manifesting? What the heck am I trying to do? Because a lot of people, manifesting is a buzzword, right? We said that last time. Manifesting has become this huge buzzword. And for us that have lived the witchy lifestyle for many moons, or at least a few moons, we know that manifesting isn't just about intention. Because I feel like that's something that I hear a lot going around now, is that, to manifest this, and all you have to do is put your intention, just think positive about it, and it'll eventually drop into your lap. And I believe, as again, witches that have been around for a while, and even newer witches probably realize that that's not really how it works, right? Like, there's a lot more stuff that goes behind manifesting something, behind bringing something out of your dreams or your concept into your physical reality, right? Co-creating your actual entire life takes work. You're just not along for the ride. You just get to enjoy the ride as you're creating it. Right? Okay. So manifesting needs more than intention. Manifesting needs action as well. So we know when we're spell casting, we may be casting a spell or doing ritual work for something that we desire, something we want to create for ourselves, whether that's finding a true love or a new job or starting your own business or, having the money for bills show up for you, whatever it may be, right? When we're manifesting something, we are working on bringing what we desire into reality. But you have to do the background work to it. You have to do the mundane work to it. Not only do you have to work in the magical aspect of it by keeping yourself aligned with it. Yes, that's part of it. You have to keep yourself aligned to it. You have to keep your eye on that end goal. But you don't get from A to B without doing some work to get there, right? You have to walk there. You have to expend the energy to move from one point to another. You don't just assume somebody's going to, stop by and pick you up for a ride and drop you off at point B. Hey, it might happen, but it's probably going to take you a whole lot longer to get to where you actually want to be and what you actually want to achieve or receive if you would just start walking there on your own, right? Using your own energy. So that means that if you are looking to manifest a job for yourself, that you need to actually do the work. You need to actually create your resume. You need to submit your application. You need to go through the interview process. You need to prospect the companies even that you're interested in working for. What aligns with you to what your end goal and desire is, right? That's what it's all about. You do still have the intention, right? Your intention, though, isn't the magical part of it. Your intention is the driving force of it. Your intention is what makes you do what you need to do to get from point A to point B. When you're in alignment with what it is that you want to achieve or receive at the end, it goes much easier, right? You're just kind of moving with the flow, a universal flow, floating down the river, right? There's no resistance to it. You're going to get there. But you have to put that work into it. Because otherwise you just stay standing there looking around like, when's something going to happen, right? So here's what I do. I want to give you a little hack about what I do when I am, because there's stuff that happens, and this is all stuff that we go through in the Sister Circle membership and the courses and stuff, right? Excuse the dogs in the background. This is something that happens previous to whatever you're going to be doing as your action portion of manifesting. Right? On your magical and mundane side, there has to be stuff in advance. You have to figure out what it is that you want. You have to figure out what steps you need to do to get there. And you have to align yourself with it. Now, people go, what do you mean align yourself with it? Like, get my chakras all aligned, get my, I don't know what that means really. So let me elaborate just a little bit on that in this episode for you. So when I say align yourself with it, that means that you do have to, if you do energy work, you need to make sure that that energy is flowing through you openly and freely, right? So that does mean if you work with your chakras and stuff, that you've got everything moving in the right direction and spinning where it's supposed to be spinning, and, making sure that your energetic body is healthy. Okay? Yes, that's important, because that allows you to connect and receive from your higher self much more easily. You can reach into those Akashic records way easier that way, right? When you stay open as a conduit, because energy flows through us, right? Not to us. Okay. That should be a tagline of some kind. Okay. So what do I do? So if I know that I want to manifest something for myself, there's a whole process that happens. I sit down and go, what is it that I want? And then I think, okay, if I had somebody that showed up at my door and I opened the door and they said, I am here to give you 3 wishes. You can ask for 3 things. One of them you will receive. You can ask me for 3 things. What is it that you would like in whatever area? Say if I'm trying to manifest, a new job. What 3 wishes would you have? And I write those down, or maybe think about them or whatever. Usually I'm a big pen to paper kind of person, so I'll write those down. And then out of those 3, I'm going to choose 1. Out of those 3, I'm going to look and say, what do I need to do to get closer to what it is that I'm asking for? Both in magical and mundane. So here's where you would go into setting your spell cast up, or maybe deciding if you're going to work with a sigil, or whatever it is, whatever your magical kind of action is going to be, but also your mundane action as well, right? So you're going to set those up. But here's the thing is, you don't want to get stuck in that overthinking, like, what should I be doing? Oh my gosh. You want to make sure that you're actually taking action, and thinking about something and overthinking about something is never taking action. That's just keeping you stuck exactly where you're at. So making sure that you don't get stuck there, right? In that thinking portion, in that planning portion, you have to actually do something. So give yourself a time limit is what I do, and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to think about this, and by the end of the week, I'm going to have my plan in action. Whatever I have at the end of the week, that's what I'm going to be doing, right? And then when you're setting your manifesting goals, you want to put your end goal at a time limit as well. I want to be in a new 6-figure position by the end of, February. Whatever it is. I want to have $1,000 in the bank in 30 days. Whatever it is, you want to make sure there's a time limit on it, because that keeps you in alignment. It keeps you moving towards a goal, because otherwise you're just moving, but you're not really moving in any specific point in time, right? And then it just kind of gets lackadaisical sometimes. So don't get stuck in that planning portion of it. And then again, you're going to go, okay, what's the one thing that I need to do? What's the next step that I need to do to put me in the right direction? Because those steps, those backings, that action is what is important. So if you have something that's bigger, you want to break it down. You want to break it down, if you need to, into daily things. If you want to write a book in, a year, then you're going to go, okay, here's the outline of my book. I'm going to have X amount of chapters. I have 12 months to write it. So I'm going to take the amount of chapters that I need divided by the 12 months and know that that's how many chapters I need to write every month, right? You following me on that? And then after that, if that seems like it's too big, you can break it down even further and go, okay, I need X amount of chapters a month. I've got on average 4 weeks in a month. So now how many chapters do I have to write a week? Right? Okay. Now you know that you've got that. You can break it down even further and go, okay, my chapters are going to be this long or, whatever. So how many pages, and I've got 30 days in a month on average. So how many pages do I have to write daily? And then when you go, okay, I've got a, huge book to write by this date, but now you've broken it down. And that seems like this huge thing, right? This monumental task that needs to be completed. But now you've broken it down all the way down into days, and you go, you know what? I only need to write a page and a half a day. And maybe one day you get to write on a roll, right? And you get to write 5 pages. You're ahead of the game. But you know that you have that to relate yourself to where you're at meeting your end goal in a year from now, right? It keeps you on that track of movement, of progress, of accountability to yourself. And it doesn't seem like you're working all that hard to get to this monumental end goal. In a year's time, you're going to write that last, ending, the end on your book, and put your, whatever you're writing it down on, and go, whew, I'm done. And you know what? It sure didn't seem like it was that monumental of a task to have completed. But boy, will you feel good about completing it, right? You manifested that for yourself because you put in the work, you put in the action. Okay, so 3 other things that I want to say real quick about manifesting. When you're in the process of manifesting something, you want to make sure that you watch your language that you're using with yourself and with universe, right? Keep in mind that universe does not recognize negatives. And you also don't want to be talking negatively about yourself on any level. So even to other people, right? When you go, oh, well, I'm going to write this book in a year, but I don't really know if I'm going to get it done. No, step into your power. That's giving away your personal power, right? You need to step into your power and go, yep, I'm going to have this amazing book done in a year, if not sooner, maybe. And it's going to end up being on the, top seller list or whatever books are on, right? Like that's the terms that you need to be working with yourself with. You are powerful. You have the ability. You just maybe don't maintain your time the best way. Or maybe you have squirrel syndrome like I have, or sparkly syndrome like I have, where you go on one thing and then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, look at sparkly. And you end up turning the corner and going down the next aisle, right? And then you forget where you were going in the first place. And you end up watching, squirrels on snowboarding on YouTube for 3 hours. I know I can't be the only one that happens to. So keeping yourself in alignment to where you're moving. That is also meaning that watching your language, but then helping someone else. And I know you're kind of like, what does that have to do with keeping myself in alignment? Well, when you give, you get back so much more. And it keeps everything kind of open and flowing in that love energy. And that's where you need to be living from. That's where you need to be centered into. So helping someone else brings back way more than what you're giving 9 times out of 10. Okay? And then the last one is consistency is the key. And that's why I say break things down. You have to consistently do something to be able to form a habit of doing it. So even if you're manifesting a more healthy lifestyle for yourself, right? You have to be consistent about it. That means setting timers on your phone or reminders on your house computer. And I can't say her name because otherwise she'll turn on. Or if it's, setting buzzing reminders on your smartwatch or whatever. You need to make sure that you have a plan of where you're going and be consistent about it. And that also includes when you're working on learning meditation. And again, if you're in the membership, we've got that amazing 30-day meditation program that you should be going through because it is awesome. But, right, you have to make sure that you stay consistent with it. In your practice, in your magical practice, I always recommend and stay consistent with at least doing something once a month. Now, that doesn't mean every full moon it has to be done or every new moon it has to be done. That just means somewhere in the month you're saying, maybe you decide the 16th of the month is a great day. And every month on the 16th is when you're going to sit down and be accountable to yourself for your magical practice. Take inventory of where you're at. You could do it weekly. I suggest and invite everyone to take inventory of their self-care practice weekly because that is absolutely imperative. Absolutely imperative. And then if you are manifesting something, let's say you're manifesting yourself in a six-figure position, six-figure job, or your own business, right? Or a healthy lifestyle where you lose, 100 pounds or something. I don't know. You have to step into the thought process of being that person. Being that person that's received. So not only do you have to have the feelings of having received and achieved what it is, you're already through that process, right? Of achieving it. Now you also have to be the person that has achieved it. Right? When you put those two things together, when you have the feelings because you've stepped into being that person, that means what is that person, what is their morning routine? What would they do? When you receive, let's say you're trying to lose 100 pounds, what does somebody that's in a healthy lifestyle, not saying you're not unhealthy, being the excess weight, but in general, okay? I'm not trying to offend or be, kind of that way, but let's say you're coming from an unhealthy lifestyle, okay? And you want to bring yourself into a healthy lifestyle and lose 100 pounds along the way. That's your goal. That's what you're manifesting for yourself. So you are going to not only keep in mind the feelings that you're going to have of achievement when you finally are able to go and buy those new clothes, or whatever it is, but you're going to start to now act as if you are that person. What does that healthy person eat in the morning? What is their morning routine? What do they eat? What do they wear? Do they do their hair and makeup every day? Like, you have to step into that person completely. You have to, the clothing, the jewelry, the accessories, all that kind of thing, the way that they hold themselves, the way they talk on the phone, whatever it is, you need to step into that person now because that puts you into alignment with that person and how you're going to be when you achieve or receive that down the road. And then the last thing that I want to say when it comes to being in alignment is moving your body. Moving your body is so essential. Even if that's a 15-minute walk, if that's dancing to your favorite song once a day, if that's working out, if that's, running, whatever it is, moving your body every day, one, gets you into a better physical self, and that allows you to energy to flow a little bit better, but it also allows you to expend excess energy that you may have. So if you find yourself 3:00 in the afternoon and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, get up, put your favorite song on and dance and see how re-energized you are from that. And on the opposite side, if at night you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot sleep, I feel like I'm never going to fall asleep, get up and dance. And when you're done, lay back down and go, you know what? I feel like now I don't have that excess energy sitting there. Not saying you have to dance, but moving, of some type. Moving your body is essential in keeping energy flowing to and through your energetic body. And that keeps you in alignment with universal flow, which keeps you on that life inner tube that's floating down the river that's taking you in ease and flow to where you want to be. So, a little bit longer episode today. That is my end cap on manifesting and some extra little tips. Again, you can come into the Sister Circle membership and we go through all different kinds of stuff like this all the time. And right now, today is January 26th through January 31st. When you sign up for the Sister Circle membership, which you can find at witchfulways.com, the Sister Circle membership, you get a free trial period. So that means you can be with us through our full moon gathering on the 28th and see what happens on the 1st of every month. And then if you decide that it's not for you, all you have to do is cancel before your trial's up. Make sure you get in before the 31st because the trial will go away on the 31st, and on February 1st, the price increases. Thanks for joining me for another magical episode. Have a wonderfully magical rest of your day.